The wind howled along the rugged cliffs, carrying the scent of salt and seaweed as the lighthouse's beam cut through the darkness like a sentinel of hope. On these isolated cliffs where waves smashed relentlessly against the jagged rocks, lived Elias, the lighthouse keeper. His days were a routine of tending the light, repairing the old structure, and keeping journals about the storms and the sea. Loneliness had been his companion for years, but he had grown accustomed to the solitude, believing that humans and the sea belonged to entirely separate worlds. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in streaks of pink and gold, Elias noticed something unusual in the waters below. A figure shimmered in the surf, moving with an elegance that no ordinary swimmer could possess. She had hair like liquid silver and eyes as deep and shifting as the ocean itself. For a moment, Elias thought he was seeing a trick of the fading light, but then she looked directly at him, and a strange warmth seeped into his chest. Her name was Selene, and she was a mermaid, a creature of the deep who had watched the lighthouse for many nights. She was drawn to the solitary man who kept the beacon burning, and over time, her curiosity turned into admiration. She admired his dedication, the gentle way he spoke to the gulls, and how he never wavered in his duty, even during the fiercest storms. In Selene's world, where currents and tides were unpredictable, Elias's constancy was a rare treasure. At first, their meetings were cautious. Selene would appear at twilight, singing soft songs that mingled with the wind and waves. Elias would listen from the lighthouse steps, entranced by melodies that seemed to echo the feelings he had never allowed himself to acknowledge: longing, wonder, and a hope for connection. One night, the waves were particularly violent, and Selene was caught in a tangle of seaweed near the rocks. Without hesitation, Elias braved the crashing surf to help her. For the first time, their hands touched, and the world seemed to pause, suspended between water and land, human and mermaid. As seasons changed, so did their bond. They spoke of their worlds. Selene told stories of coral cities, luminescent fish, and the songs of whales that traveled for hundreds of miles. Elias shared tales of human life, of love and loss, of dreams that flickered like the lighthouse beam over the vast, dark sea. They laughed together, and sometimes they just sat in silence watching the horizon where the sky kissed the water. But love between land and sea is never simple. Selene longed to be with Elias, yet she could not leave the ocean. The sea was her home, her essence. Likewise, Elias could not abandon his duties on the cliffs, for countless ships relied on his unwavering light. Their hearts ached with desire and impossibility, yet they found joy in the moments they could share. One fateful stormy night, a ship had lost its bearings, swept perilously close to the jagged rocks. The lighthouse, battered by wind and rain, flickered uncertainly. Selene, seeing the danger, swam alongside the ship, guiding it with her songs, while Elias risked his life to keep the light steady. Together, human and mermaid saved the crew from a tragic fate. When the storm subsided, they clung to each other, drenched and exhausted, realizing the depth of their connection. They were from different worlds, yet their hearts had found a bridge in love and courage. Over time, their story became a legend whispered among sailors of the lighthouse keeper who loved the sea and the mermaid who loved the human. The tale teaches that love does not always conform to expectations. True connection is about understanding, sacrifice, and courage, about shining your light even when storms rage around you. Elias and Selene could not live in the same world, but their love endured. He kept the lighthouse burning, knowing she was near, watching, singing, and guiding. And she remained in the sea, always returning to the cliffs, always sharing in the life of the man who showed her that even among humans, constancy, kindness, and love could illuminate the darkest nights. In the end, their story reminds us that love is not always possession. It is recognition and respect, a shared heartbeat between two souls, no matter how different their worlds may seem. And sometimes, love is not about staying together, but about being brave enough to let someone exist fully in their own world while keeping them alive in your heart.